Okay. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for all the great shares. I'm really, really excited that these calls have been beneficial for you. And one of the common denominators that I'm hearing from every single one of you guys is that these calls are making you aware. These calls are helping you be conscious, not only of your words, of your thoughts, of your actions. And, that to me brings me so much joy because at the end of the day, you guys, and, I want you guys to have everything. I want you to have the money, the girl, the guy, the house, the cars, the vacations, and all of that. But more than that, honestly, in the bottom of my heart, what I really, really desire for each and every one of you guys is to have happy experiences. Because see, here's the thing. You can have an amazing car, an amazing house, an amazing wife, an amazing husband, an amazing anything. But if you're not having those kinds of happy experiences, joyful experiences, then really what's the point, right? You can have an amazing car, but if you don't enjoy driving it, then what's the point? And the reason why I'm saying if you're not enjoying driving it is because sometimes we have things. We've got great people. We have great situations. We're even, we're even like in the Bahamas. But that doesn't mean just because you're in paradise that you actually enjoy it. And I remember when I qualified for the vacations with Herbalife, I was at the Atlantis Resort, and one of my friends who won the vacations took her boyfriend. And he was pissed the entire week we were there. Now, most people be like, what is there to be mad about? You're in the Bahamas, right? But guess what? People will find whatever emotions they want to generate no matter where they're at. You could be this is kind of a harsh example, but you could be in jail and have an amazing experience. Maybe you're reading a book and your mind goes somewhere, right? So at the end of the day, it's all about a choice. And I'm so happy that you guys are choosing your thoughts and you're choosing your emotions. Now, they might not always work and they might not always be in alignment with what you want, but that you're catching yourself. Like, that doesn't serve me. Like, that's my word, right? Whenever I think of something like this morning. So Marta has been, running for the last month, and she had this amazing goal. And I was like, I want to do that. And so I used to run track and field, and I used to run cross country. I've actually been a runner. If you guys know, my father's a runner. I've been a runner pretty much my whole life, all the way through high school. After high school, I stopped running. And so, I took it up again. And it's amazing because you get that second wind. But here's the thing, right? I ran a loop. I was at 2.3 miles. And I got to the car, and I took a little bit of sip of hydrate, and I was ready to, to do the second loop for 4 miles. And it's amazing. My mind started wandering and started thinking about, oh, my God, I have to do this again. And I put on this awesome music. I love Rocky IV. It's like my favorite movie. I have the soundtrack on my phone. And I put on the training montage, and I just got myself in state. And I started to say something to myself over and over again, like, I am fit, I am healthy, I am strong. And I just kept, literally declaring how I wanted to feel. And at that moment, I completely changed my state. For me, it's music that does it for me. Sometimes you have to find out what that is for you. So why I'm saying this is because we want to look at, here we are, September. I know we're already, September 8th, or I think today's the 9th, but still we're pretty much in the beginning of the month. And one of the things I want to do with this call is I want you to start looking at how are you going to set up your month. I just had some conference calls, some conference calls with my chat team yesterday, and I have some more today. And one of the things that we looked at is, and I'm going to ask you, if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, you want to write this down. You want to look at what happened in the month of August. Now, remember, the quality of your questions will determine the quality of your answers. So one of the things I'm going to invite you to look at is, number one, is what can you celebrate about in the month of August? Like, what do you feel good about? What did you do great? Okay? What did you do great? Anything, you guys have great things that happened throughout the month. Maybe it didn't pan out the way you wished, 100%, but there are some great things that happened. And if you're having a hard time acknowledging and recognizing yourself, here's something I know, and you want to write this down. How you treat yourself is how you treat others. And, what I mean by that is if you can't acknowledge yourself, if you can't acknowledge the great things that you're doing, I can almost assure you that you're having a hard time acknowledging and recognizing others. Because at the end of the day, how you treat yourself is really how you treat others. You can't be loving yourself and cussing at the world. Most of the time, people that are cussing at the world, they cuss at themselves. Okay? If people that love themselves and honor and respect themselves, guess what? They honor and respect others. So it all starts with us. As I think it was Sally that said, if you want to, the kind of team that you want to create, you have to first become that person. However, here's another thing you want to add to that, and which is true, and that is how you want the world to see you. You have to start seeing yourself that way. So you can't expect people to see you as a leader if you yourself don't see you as a leader. It all starts with you. You start seeing yourself as a leader, having more confidence, having more acknowledging yourself, and then guess what? You will be able to see other people in the same way, and then to return, they will see you the same way. It's kind of a tricky little equation because it's simple, but it's not easy, right? Sometimes, we have 30-plus years of programming in our minds that we have to literally make disappear. So the first thing you want to look at is what happened in the month of August. What did you do great? Okay, and you want to start looking at what did you do great? Okay, and then you want to look at, okay, now looking at the month of August, what could I have done better? What do I want to do better in the month of September? Because it's all about improving a little bit at a time, right? So, for example, I'll give you my example. So one of the things one of the many things that I did great in the month of August is that, I went and visited my team, and I actually worked with them. We put together a plan. Actually, there's a couple of things I did great. One of the things was I got together with my team, and we put together a plan to do conference calls with them once a week and mentoring calls once a month. So that's one thing I did great, okay? And I went to go visit them. That's another thing that I did great. There's a bunch of things, right? I started looking at all that. So that starts making you feel good, and it's going to allow you to think, okay, that's a winning formula that works, so let me do that again. Okay, now what could I improve on? What could I have done better that I want to implement this in the month of September? And one of the things that I said for myself was I wanted to be consistent with my workout, with my meal plan. My calls are in place, okay, because what I did great, I want to repeat this month. Okay, I want to repeat the calls. We've already done this yesterday and today. I want to repeat the weekly calls, which we have continuously going. I want to continue to visit my team, which is something I have to put in place, right? And then the other things that I want to improve on or I want to make better, right, is I want to increase my personal production. Oh, yeah, I signed up 2 guys, and so now this month I said I was going to do a fit camp. I want to do it this month. So you want to start looking at what did I do great and what could I improve on. Now, the reason why is because if you want to start looking at how can we have change in our lives and our business, because here's the thing. One of the things I was reading about yesterday, I've been watching these documentaries on Netflix on successful people. And personally, I love watching those kinds of things. I watched how Google was made. I watched the owner of the Mavericks, Mark Cuban, his documentary. And I love to not only watch it to hear their story, but I love to extract things that work. And that's what we're going to talk about today is how do you model success, okay? Because in order for us to have lasting change, we have to start looking at how do we have it? How do those people go from nothing to billions or millions, or from misery to happiness, from, scarcity to abundance in every way, happiness and money and all of that, right? And you want to start looking at what makes somebody do that, what makes them have lasting change. And here's the funny thing, right, is that everybody wants change. Everybody does. But not everybody wants to do what it takes to have it. Look, I will be the first one to admit, I wish I could, eat sweets because I love dessert. I wish that I could eat sweets and not have it affect me, not have it affect my blood sugar, not have it affect my body, not have it affect my weight. I really do. But here's the thing. If I want to change my body, I have to change my habits. I have to change what I'm doing. So, I've been now running every single day. So some of those things that we want to have change, we have to understand that you must. Well, yeah, you do. You must. If it's a must, if the desire is a must, then the action must be a must. For example, if one of the things that you want to change is the way that you're thinking about yourself, as an example, right? So that needs to be a must, not a try, not I should, but a must. Therefore, anytime you catch yourself, you want to be aware, and anytime you talk to yourself in a native way, you must catch it, and you must replace it with a positive word. You must replace it with an empowering phrase, anything. So today, as I was running, right, the second loop, I was like, oh, my God, my first run, I did like an average of 9.4 minutes a mile, right? And I was determined to do the second round faster. So I was pushing myself, and my mind started like saying all these things. I'm tired. My feet really hurt because I did this hike on Sunday, and I really beat up my ankles. So all these things started coming to my mind. Now, here's the thing. Because it was a must for me to finish the second loop, it was a must for me to replace those negative, disempowering thoughts with powering thoughts. Now, it wasn't easy. I was like saying I am fit, I am healthy, and I wasn't buying it. So that's when I put on my Rocky music. Training montage always does it for me. I imagine Rocky on the mountain trying to get Drago, Anyway, so the thing is, you got to figure out what is your winning formula. Now, in order for that to happen, okay, is that what we don't realize, one of the things when that starts to happen, what we don't realize, you guys, is that the process of training ourselves and conditioning ourselves actually feels really incredible. It actually feels, it's very fulfilling. It's very inspiring, in the spirit. If you think about the word inspiring, it's talking about your spirit. You're in your spirit. You have a body, and now this is my personal belief, but I don't believe that we're just this flesh of meat walking around this earth. But inside this flesh of meat, we have a spirit, and that's that thing that you feel sometimes where you're like in euphoria, like you just feel like on high, like you're got that second wind. That's why you get inspired, because you are in your spirit. So what ends up happening is, you guys, is that when you start to have this process of training and conditioning yourself, it actually feels incredible, because you start getting momentum. And you start feeling accomplished. You start feeling like you just start feeling alive. Okay? So this is the reason. Then why don't most people do it? If this is real, right? If this is true that we really do, it is an incredible feeling, and to catch momentum when you recondition and you train yourself, then why don't we do it? I want you to think about that. You see, because if you really want lasting change, you have to commit, and that's one of the things a lot of you guys were talking about in the beginning of the call when you were sharing, is that word commitment. And sometimes it scares us, okay? All of us, including me. But here's the thing. If you really want to have lasting change, you have to commit to mastery. Write that down. See, so many of us, sometimes we just try things. Maybe you start doing your Herbalife business and you start thinking, I'm going to try this, see how this works. No, but see, if you have that attitude, you're already giving yourself a way out. Or like, for example, this is like a really silly example, but let's say, there's we all know the people that smoke, right? And they say, I'm really going to try to quit this year. Well, you already know by them saying that their probability of succeeding is very little, because they're not committing. They're trying. Okay, so I want you to start catching yourself this week, okay, for this month, is to start looking at where are you saying I'm going to try to do this rather than I'm going to commit. Okay, so for example, Martha totally inspired me to start running. She did like 100 miles in a month, and I was like, that is awesome, right? And I have to admit, I don't have a set goal for how many miles I want to do this month. I'm just committing myself to run every single day. Yesterday, like I told you on Sunday, I did this hike, and I went running. I was like a freaking, I don't even know what you want to call it, like a cheetah. Running. My feet are really, really sore because I was hopping through these rocks in this cross country, and it was like I was on this high, just thinking I was going to fall off the cliff. Right. Well, I ended up hurting my feet and my ankles, and thank God for Restore, even though we don't cure anything. But because it brings down the inflammation, I was able to run yesterday, but I only ran 2 miles. So it wasn't like I'm going to go try to run every day. No, I'm committing. Whether I just changed my goals a little bit according to what in this condition how my feet were doing. Okay, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you commit to something, you might not follow through 100%, but let's say you commit yourself to mastery in your business, and you commit yourself to doing a 90-day plan, or let's just take this month, 30-day plan, and you commit to talk to people every single day. Let's say you commit to talking to 10 people every single day, and let's just say that one of the days you only talk to 8. Okay, no problem, but here's the thing. You committed to doing something every single day. You fell a little short, no problem. Tomorrow, pick yourself back up, acknowledge the fact that you did 8 versus 0, celebrate, make yourself feel good, and then acknowledge, say, okay, what could I have done better? Maybe I could have organized my time better. Whatever the case may be, right? But you've got to commit yourself to mastery. And I really want you to start looking at where can you, or I shouldn't say that, what areas in your life are a must. Start thinking about that. And I want you to think about, and it could be just the core 4. You might add some more, but it could be the core 4. You might think, you know what, I'm going to commit to my body, to my spirituality, to my relationships, and to my business. And you can start there with those 4 things and commit every single day. And commit to mastery, not to trying. And what I mean by mastery is start thinking about what is it going to take in order for you to have success in those areas. What do you have to put in place? What do you have to do? All those things. Start looking at that. Okay? And most of the time, when you start asking people, like, what do you want to commit to mastery and what are the areas you want to work on, most of the people, they know what they want, but they don't know what to do. They don't know the details. They don't know, they haven't made those shifts inside of themselves, in their emotions, and their subconscious mind, and their psychology, so they go back to how they used to be. If you guys have an opportunity, not an opportunity, but if you guys want, I found this amazing YouTube video of this scientist who literally has been able to prove that every single one of us right now, we live our lives the way we have it. We have the lives that we have because of the way we have lived it, because of our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our beliefs, our actions, all of that, right? And there is science that has proven that God causes certain brain patterns in your brain. That there's certain brain patterns, certain things fire off, okay? Let's just call it patterns A. All the A patterns are of your life today. And then you think, oh, you know what, I want to change. I want to shift. I'm going to commit to mastery. I'm going to commit to mastering my thoughts. I'm going to commit to mastering my body. I'm going to commit to mastering my emotions, to master my spirituality, to have an amazing, powerful, sexy, sensual relationship, to have a powerful, fulfilling, inspiring business. One that's going to allow me to travel and to see the world and to commit to people and to contribute to society, whatever it is, right? You have all these beautiful thoughts and desires, and those thoughts and desires are like patterns B. So you start thinking new ideas. You start having new thoughts, start having new beliefs, start having new actions. But here's the thing. In order for you to get from point A to point B, there's this bridge you must go over. Okay? There's this bridge that you must come from point A to point B. Now, that bridge is dark and cold, and it's very, very unknown. So as human beings, one of the human necessities is certainty. So what happens is, this doctor was explaining, we all of a sudden realize that what we have as plan A no longer serves us. So you get on this bridge and you start walking through this bridge, this dark bridge, and it's a forest, it has trees, and you don't know where you're going. So you start going through. You know that you want something different, but you know you have to go through this bridge of this dark forest. And what happens is, as human beings, we need certainty, and all of a sudden you find yourself like having anxiety, like, oh my God, I don't know, is this going to work? All this doubt, all these things, because the unknown makes us uncomfortable. So what happens is, most of us, actually, I'm not going to say that. Most people will go back to their old habits, back to their old beliefs. They go back to point A because that's safe, that's comfortable, that's known, that's certain. So all of a sudden, they continue to live the same life year after year after year. It is only the brave, it is only the courageous, it is only the people that really commit to having a different life, that are willing to take a deep breath and a leap of faith and literally surrender, get on that bridge and start walking through the darkness, through the dark, through the unknown, through the uncertainty. And as you do that, it takes time. But when you get over that bridge and you start creating those wave patterns called, let's say, patterns B, the patterns of B, now you're literally at the other side. Now the question is, from the unknown, from the nothing, is where you can create something. It is only from the unknown that you can create something new. See, so many of us want something new with what we already know. It doesn't work that way. Okay? What you know has got you where you're at. So if we want a different result, we must learn different habits. We must learn different thoughts, new beliefs, new actions. Okay? But through that process of getting from point A to point B, it is not comfortable. Now, I can tell you from my personal experience, when I was watching this video, I literally I emailed my coach, Olga. I'm like, oh my gosh, Olga, this scientist literally explained what I went through the last year and a half. Because what happens is, he said, when you get on the other side of the bridge and you actually have those new brain patterns, now you choose what thoughts you want. Now you choose what behaviors how you want to behave. Now you choose the beliefs, the emotions. You now have the power of choice, because now you've lost yourself, and now you are in the inquiry of a new discovery. And he said that for those people that have been able to do that, they took brain scans, and literally, you guys, the old patterns, the patterns A, were dead. They were no longer firing off the patterns in the brain. They were no longer there. So literally, you guys, it's like a rebirth. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I went through the last year and a half, I have been sharing with you all that I have been doing, my landmark. For those of you who haven't done it, I highly recommend it. It's the best $500 you will ever invest in yourself, and it changed my life, because it allowed me to start looking at transforming myself, and literally through me continually practicing my new self, that old self died. Now, I'm not going to lie, once in a while, a little residue of my old self creeps in, but it no longer has me. It no longer owns me. I own it. I have it. And because I have it and I own it, I have the power of letting it go. So my old self, sometimes a little residue comes back, like my little impatient, judgmental self, and I go, okay, Carla, stop. And literally I snap my fingers and it's gone. But before it had me, I didn't even know I was being that way. Okay, so here's the thing I'm going to invite you to do this month of September. Start looking at what did you do great, and start thinking about what do you want this month to look like, to be like, and to start looking at when you start finding how you want to be and how you want your month to look, what is it that you need to learn, what are you committing yourself to mastery, what areas in your life are you going to commit to mastery, and then start thinking about, okay, what can I model, who can I model this after? Start finding role models. Start finding some coaches. Listen, in Herbalife, we are so blessed. If you need help with any area of your life, there is somebody in this business that has done it, has experience with it, and more importantly, is willing to coach you and help you through it. I promise you, it's just a matter of you picking up the phone and asking. I'm telling you one thing. I have to say, I used to be a very proud person and I know most of us on this phone, most of us in this world, we think, oh, I got it. I can figure it out. I can do it. And that's fine, you guys. You can't. I had a call with somebody yesterday, and he said, well, I was really recommending Landmark. And I told him, I don't get any money from it, but I'm telling you, if it changed my life, it's going to change yours. And he said, well, can I do something else? I go, yeah, absolutely. You can do anything you want. You can read a book. You can get a coach. You can do all kinds of stuff. But here's the thing I want you guys to look at. When you can immerse yourself in anything, when you can immerse yourself in a seminar, in a church retreat, in an LDW, the Leadership Development Weekend, when you can immerse yourself in an extravaganza, when you immerse yourself in like 2-3 days of training where you're in it and you're totally like present, not Facebooking, not Twittering, not emailing, not texting, you're literally in the game. Who you are, how you come out of that is a whole different person. You might not realize it, or two, what ends up happening is you start to transform from the inside out. But here's the thing, and I'm going to close with this. You must be patient because it takes time. I kept telling my coach, I'm like, oh, my God, I'm so tired. She's like, Carla, it's okay. She used to tell me, you're walking through a dark forest. So that's why I was laughing with that guy from YouTube when I watched that video. I'm like, oh, my God, this is what she used to tell me. She used to tell me, you're walking through a dark forest. We're leaving the old self behind. You're walking through the dark forest, but I have you by the hand. And I know you don't know where you're going, but I want you to know I know the path. I know the way. I know what's on the other side of that forest. You must trust me. Surrender, let go, and keep walking. And I remember one time I was so mad, I literally slammed my hand on my desk. I'm like, she's like, I know, baby. It's okay. You're doing good, you know. And as I was watching this video, the guy was talking about that. He was talking that most people, they get tired of change. They get tired of having to look at themselves. They get tired. They get drained of that unknown, of that uncertainty, and therefore they go back to their old self. So if you guys want that YouTube, it's like an hour long, but it's amazing. You don't have to watch all at once. You can watch a little piece at a time, you know, throughout the week. It's an amazing YouTube video. So when I finish this call, when I finish recording it right now, I am going to give you my personal cell phone number so you guys can text me, and I'm going to forward you the link to the YouTube, okay? So with that said, you can exactly 30 minutes. Sorry, I know that we started the call a little bit late, but let me go ahead and finish the recording, and I'm going to answer any questions that you guys may have and give you my cell phone number, so grab a piece of paper and a pencil. Hold on.